It's a beautiful day in St. Charles, Missouri, and it's time for the semifinals in the Great Lakes Valley Conference men's lacrosse side of things. It's Lindenwood taking on Maryville, coming up next right here on the GLVC Sports Network. Top four teams in the Great Lakes Valley Conference will hook up today here at Hunter Stadium in St. Charles, Missouri on the campus of Lindenwood University. And I tell you what, it's going to be a great evening of men's lacrosse in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. I'm Jim Powers. Dominic Kosher is going to join me for the first game. And Dominic, these two teams played probably two of the most epic men's lacrosse games during the regular season that I've had a chance to see, you know, in the infancy of men's lacrosse here in the conference. Maryville gets one, Lindenwood gets one. I think anybody's going to come out of this thing and challenge for the championship.
Yeah, we were talking about it pregame, Jim. It was a really open battle between all four of these teams. They've beaten each other, and, of course, like we talked about with Maryville, these two teams have already met twice this year. 1-1 is the series so far. You talked about it earlier, the late February game, 8-7 overtime win for Maryville. Lindenwood went to that game with momentum. They were undefeated at the time. Maryville was able to pull out the win. So these two teams know each other well. Should make for a really exciting evening here in St. Charles.
Maryville comes in 7-5 on the season. Dropped their last two. Their last game in the regular season, at home, they lost to Rockhurst 14-12, a team that we'll see later on tonight in the 2-3 matchup. Lindenwood, on the other hand, you know, a terrific year. They're number 11 right now in the nation. They come in with a 9-2 record. They're 5-0 here in the friendly confines of Hunter Stadium. But let's talk a little bit about Maryville first. What a year that they've had and how this program has grown over the last couple years. But what they're going to be leaning on is Jake Foster, number one on the attack, and then they've got the freshman, the GLVC Freshman of the Year, in Connor Robinson in between the pipes.
Yeah, you talked about Foster, 31 goals this season, but you know that Lindenwood defense, they've highlighted him on the score sheet. Not sure if it'll matter or not, but you have to keep an eye out for him and his goal-scoring ability, and you know Maryville's offense is going to run through him.
And then you talk about the Lions, and once again, everything that they've done. And we'll, real quick, take a pause for the playing of our national anthem. And now we'll keep it right here. We'll go ahead and turn it over to our public address announcer as they will present the all-conference awards that were earned by both of these two teams.
The 2021 All-GLVC Men's Lacrosse Team and major award winners for this contest. When you hear your name, please head to midfield and receive your award from GLVC Director of Communications, Cody Winston. First up, the centers. Honorable mentions. Ethan Olsen, attack. Jack Allen, midfield. Tyler Wink, midfield. Jack Sosha, defense. Second team, all GLVC. Tim McCarthy, defense. Braden Schneider, defense. Parker Lee, short stick midfield. Connor Robinson, goalkeeper. First team all GLVC. Jake Foster, tackle. Jake Social, long stick midfield. And your major award winners for the Saints. Freshman of the Year, Connor Robinson. And Coach of the Year, Scott Stark. And now for the Lions. Honorable mention, Peter Covington, attack. Grant Glazier, midfield. Johnny Major, specialist. Chase Showalter, long stick midfield. Matt Jones, long stick midfield. Second team all GLVC. Leonard Jones, attack. Alex Eubank, defense. Connor Cummins, goalkeeper. And now first team all GLVC. Carter Collins, attack. Rob Tucker, midfield. Brian Colbert, defense. And your major award winner for the Lions, Player of the Year, Carter Collins. Let's hear it one more time for all of our honorees.
And there you have the major award winners, and we just talked about the Freshman of the Year for Maryville, but what about the Player of the Year in Collins? 33 goals on the year. There's a reason why Lindenwood's number 11 in the country, and we talk about the offense running through Jake Foster for Maryville. Everything is going to run through Collins for Lindenwood.
It does, and it's not just one game. It's not just another. He shows up every single time he steps on the field for Lindenwood, and it's been a sight to see. Every time he's on the ball, the defense attracts 2-3 eyes on him. In doing so, that opens up other top scorers like Tucker and Jones, and that's just the value of a player like Collins. He can definitely beat you and score 2-3 goals a game, but also opens up the whole rest of the Lions offense.
You talk about the coaches, Scott Stark, who was named the GLVC Coach of the Year. Very familiar here at Lindenwood. He spent a few years here as an assistant coach for Jim Lang, and the job that these two coaches have done to get their teams to where they're at, especially a young program like Maryville, a program that's establishing themselves in Lindenwood. You don't expect anything less from these two coaches with these two programs.
Definitely not, and I like how you mentioned, Starkey's been here before. He knows Lindenwood, and that's just going to make it even more exciting of an affair because they're so familiar with each other, and it'll make it close throughout the game. But you talked about the progress that Maryville has made as a program after a couple down years, being able to turn it around in 2019, going 9-6 before 2020. A little bit of a down year, but of course a shortened season. Hard to put too much stock into that before now making a GLVC playoff appearance. It's exciting for the program, exciting for the players, and it's going to make for an exciting day against a Lindenwood team that's also making their GLVC postseason debut. Absolutely.
Maryville is qualified for all three of the GLVC tournament postseason games. Indy, they've run into the buzzsaw from Indianapolis, UIndy, and we'll see them once again. They're the number 2 seed. And the last weekend of the regular season last weekend was wild just because of the matchups for, seeding. You knew who the top 4 was, but there was still a lot of questions on how the seeding was going to shake out on where everybody was going to play tonight.
Yeah, and we saw Indy sit in that number 1 seed for quite a bit until that very last weekend when they fell down to number 2. So it could very well be the Greyhounds against Maryville here today, but instead it's Lindenwood getting into that number 1 spot. A lot of momentum, but also lots of pressure. You're playing at home. You have the number 1 seed now, and you're number 11 in the country. Lots of pressure and eyes are laid upon this Lions team, but on the other side you have Maryville. you're coming in as number 4 seed on the road too. Play like you have nothing to lose. You're the underdogs. You're not being favored in this matchup. Gives them all the more reason to come out here today and try to get the upset win.
Dominic, let's run through the starting lineups first for the number 4 seed. They'll be in the red uniforms with the white numbers, Maryville University.
All right, you have Levi Smith, a defender and freshman from Clemens, North Carolina, starting the defense with him, Tim McCarthy, all the way from Clifton Park, New York. Ethan Olson as well as Owen Westapole. Connor Robinson gets the starting goal. The freshman, Jake Shosha, Parker Lee, Jake Foster, Braden Schneider, and then Jacob Allen, the junior attacker from Webster, New York.
And let's talk about the number 1 seed Lindenwood Lions and who they're going to put out on the field to get things started here.
You have a veteran back in defense, Alex Eubank, the senior from Frisco, Texas, Grant Glazier, Cam Smith, Jake Rusk, Brian Kahlberg, that lethal scorer we talked about, Carter Collins, Johnny Major, Connor Simonowitz gets the start from San Diego, California, in goal for Lindenwood today. Then you have Chase Showalter, and then Jordan Knowles, a junior defender, standing at 5'11".
Glad we're playing on a Friday. It's 75 degrees, some clouds moving in. The weekend is not looking exceptional. Thank goodness for the off day tomorrow for the 2 teams that are going to advance. Sunday is going to be a wet, dreary day, but just to make it to the championship, that's what you want to get to, and these 2 teams are ready to go. Lindenwood in the white, Maryville in the red, and we have our first ground ball, and that is going to be picked up by Jake Rusk. Rusk is going to work over to the right side and bring it down into the attacking area. They'll go back behind the net. They'll go to Cam Smith. Some good matchups offensively and defensively for these 2 teams. And we have our first whistle, and it's going to be an offsides call on Lindenwood. So Maryville will take advantage.
You have to wonder about the nervous jitters that these 2 teams are facing. And, of course, postseason, so much on the line. Already saw a turnover there in the first possession of the game for Lindenwood.
Jacob Allen, he's going to get it out front to Jake Foster. Foster's going to work up top in the attack zone. Just underway here in semifinal number 1 in the GLVC men's lacrosse semifinals. Glad to have you with us. Busy day on the network. We've got track going on. Tyler Matson's down in Rollo with all the track action for you. John Edwards, our good friend, up at East Peoria at the Eastside Center with some great softball action going on today as well. Bringing it out front is Mitchell Kay, and they're going to push him out. And that's what Lindenwood likes to do, is they like to push you out and not give you that clean shot. But a look, and did it go in? Yes, it did. Goal for Maryville to start things off.
What a start for them. Very first possession of the game. You talk about pushing them outside. That's what they did, but Maryville still attacked inside, and more than number 16, Tyler Wink, able to go in and get the first goal of the game. So rough start for Lindenwood, but on the other side, Maryville, perfect start on the road. Already off to a good start, getting momentum too.
Tyler Wink on the season for the Saints. He has 12 goals, make that 13 now going in. Now going back to the dot, it's going to be Cooper George for the Saints going against Johnny Major. And Major going to come up with the ground ball. He's going to bring it down onto the right-hand side. Now they'll take it back behind the net.
What a fearless play that was by Wink, however. So many white players in white in the traffic and didn't make a difference, ran through all of them and still able to find the back of the net.
Well, that was also really set up nicely by Mitchell Kay and working inside. Lindenwood was trying to push him out, and he was able to at least get it cut in and find Wink for the first goal of the afternoon. Lindenwood, they're being very methodical, and that's what they like to do. They'll work the shot clock down as far as they possibly can. Out front, that's going to be Cam Smith. Smith now going to bring it out front, going to get it to Leonard Jones. Now they'll swing inside. There's a shot from the flank, and that's no good. Great block by Connor Robinson.
That was Rob Tucker with the effort. Don't want to leave him with that much open room, especially on that far side, but he had a good shooting lane for the first shot of the game for Lindenwood that time to no avail, but good start for Robinson already. Offensively, you have momentum. Now getting some confidence on the defensive side, too. And your starting goalie in today's game in Robinson.
Robinson comes in with 86 saves on the season. One of the main reasons he was named the freshman of the year in the conference. Now the Saints will bring it out front. They're going to get Wink right back into the action. Working around now. They'll go back behind. Swinging around. They'll go to Foster. Foster now will flip it out to Ciafone. Shot, and that's going to go just wide by Aiden Koenig.
Good effort by him. Lots of power on that shot. I don't know if Simmons would have been able to make the save with the direction and power behind it, but another good chance for Maryville already.
Jacob Allen working out front, 15 on the shot clock, so the Saints are going to have to go to work. Great defense by Lindenwood, and they're going to throw it away, ground ball, and they're going to say, nope, it'll go to Lindenwood, and Lindenwood will quickly go on the attack. They've got the numbers if they can make something happen in transition. That's the one thing Lindenwood loves to do, is they're going to take advantage of turnovers just like that and try and get into that fast break game down the left-hand side to set things up over to the right.
And there's so much speed across this Lindenwood team, too. We have Leonard Jones running at you from one way, Carter Collins as well. Hard to keep up with guys like that. Wears out on defense and also causes trouble for Robinson in goal.
Grant Glazier with it out front. Now they're going to swing it around once again back behind the pipes. That's going to be Bryce Horstman. Take a look over onto the left-hand wing. Now they'll bring it back up to the point to Smith. Shot, and that's going to go wide. It'll stay with Lindenwood. They'll go back to work. 25 on the shot clock, so still a little bit of time. And once again, Lindenwood, they love to run that shot clock down, especially with Alex Weiss with it behind. Now he'll look. Shot up high and wide by Carter Collins. That's his first look of the game.
And all set up by Weiss that time. Skillful play to draw a couple defenders to him, opening up Collins on the near side.
Trying to get something going. There's a caused turnover. Ground ball is going to be picked up by Braden Schneider.
What an impressive start to the game defensively for this Maryville team. Still only one real good look for Lindenwood. They had that chance with Collins, but that went wide. And so far, just really suffocating defense.
And there's a caused turnover. Great work defensively by Chase Showalter. But then another turnover forced, and coming up with it's going to be Jai Benson. Benson going to flip it, and he's going to throw it away. That's going to be caused by Kalberg. So there's that midfield jitters right now, but you got to give credit to both teams in the midfield right now, not really letting anybody get onto that fast break.
Right, nowhere to go that time for Maryville. It was the same problem for Lindenwood, too. And when you're controlling the midfield, it makes it so much more difficult for each team to start moving down, starting getting your offense going.
9.5 to go, first period. We're just underway. Shot's going to be wide, but Maryville, they're going to say, came off of the Lindenwood stick, and it'll be Maryville in control.
It was Tucker on the effort again. They're trying to get their second leading goal scorer on the year in Tucker, who came into this game with 17. Trying to get him involved on that far side, and it's been working. He's had a couple chances, but that time just went way too wide and cost Lindenwood a possession. But again, Maryville being able to do the job on the defensive side.
Here come the Saints. Once again, Maryville in the red uniforms. And a nice steal on the pass coming down the near side. That's going to be Brian Kalberg, the sophomore.
He's looked impressive so far, and again, just in the midfield, we talked about both teams controlling it. It's been Kalberg for Lindenwood who's been doing the hard work so far. A couple interceptions already. You could see the passion on him afterwards, a couple fist bumps in the air too, because you know how much it means to him and all these players. That's the perks of the postseason. But again, a really good play for Lindenwood's number 16.
The long sticks on both teams right now really doing a great job. Now drive inside, and we're going to have a whistle. It's going to be a crease violation, and great work defensively inside for the Saints by Aiden Koenig. Good look for Lindenwood that time. Just wasn't able to get the crease that he wanted to, and he got called for being inside the crease. Maryville will bring it across, and they'll get the clearing attempt at the 8:17 mark.
That was Corker for Lindenwood. You talked about great pressure again, Koenig and company there, and Corker was just trying to move inside. No room again, and Maryville keeping the workload low so far for the freshman in Robinson, and in doing so, keeping them fresh.
Maryville working around the perimeter once again. Now they'll come back up top to the point to Mitchell Kay. Now they'll go right side, bring it back around. Still plenty of time, 30 seconds on the shot clock. Now they'll look to attack. Great work once again by Lindenwood defense. And there's going to be a caused turnover. Ground ball is going to be picked up by Kohlberg once again. That is a name you are going to hear us say a lot tonight on the defensive side of things for Lindenwood.
first team All-GLVC, one of Lindenwood's 11 All-GLVC selections, and he's shown it so far. One of the unsung heroes. All the goal scorers, they get the headlines, but he's been the star so far.
And here's the steal by Maryville, and coming up with the ground ball, it's going to be Jake Sosha. Now Maryville's going to go on the attack quickly. They're going to try and take advantage of it. Now they'll swing it over to the right wing, back up top. They'll put it into Declan Mulholland. Now back up to the point. That's Sanfoni. Now they'll take it back behind. Quick pace here to the first quarter in our first semifinal of the day. Semifinal number 2, we'll see UIndy, the 2 seed, taking on Rockhurst, the number 3 seed. That game is set to begin at 6:30. Sanfoni, his shot's going to go up wide. Enough bodies for Maryville back behind to be able to come up with the out-of-bounds ball. Once again, now they're going to bring it back up front. 40 seconds, still plenty of time for Scott Stark Saints. That pass is going to go, and that's going to be a missed opportunity for Maryville. Unforced error by the Saints. Lindenwood is going to try and take advantage of it.
Right now, you're the number 1 defense in the GLVC in Lindenwood going against the number 2 defense in the GLVC in Maryville, and that's why it's only a 1-0 score line. Still, just both defenses controlling the game. No good chances really for either side besides the 1 goal for the Saints, and you have to love that kind of lacrosse. Early on so far, defensive battle here in our first semifinal matchup.
Look to see how Lindenwood is going to try and get into a crease. Shot up. Great pass, shot, and a goal. That was an outstanding pass to Grant Glazier. Give him the goal. But that was set up by an outstanding pass from the left wing.
And that's a sophomore, Cam Smith. What play by him. You needed something special from one of your players to break through an elite defense like Maryville has, and that's what Smith provided. Glazier just got completely lost on the near side due to the skillful play of him. And that's what's led to the connection on the goal, opening goal for Lindenwood, but have to credit the play by Cam Smith on that occasion.
Absolutely. So Glazier with the goal, Cam Smith with the assist, and Smith able to draw the defense over. Glazier able to come on the backside, untouched basically, unmarked, and was able to come up with just a great goal over the left-hand shoulder of Robinson. Lindenwood wins the face-off. Lindenwood doing a nice job in controlling the dot here in the first.
That was just assist number 4 of the year for Smith. He's usually been on the other side of things, has 7 goals on the year, but that time it's turning into the creator, one of the younger players on this Lindenwood roster, and showing to be one of the more impactful players too so far here against Maryville.
So now the Lions will go to work. Looking on the attack, that's Horstman. He's a redshirt junior from Wildwood, Missouri. Now they'll look to attack. Didn't see what they wanted. Now they'll bring it up. Ball is on the ground. Ground ball controlled by Maryville, and that's going to be Jake Sosha once again.
Yeah, just in the right position, and again, just excellent read on the play by Sosha, and one of the more impactful players on the defense for the Maryville side. You talked about the unsung hero on one side in Kahlberg, Sosha on the other end.
Yeah, Sosha, another one of those players that was named to the GLVC All-Conference team, and we're going to see what we got down here in front of us. And a timeout called, and Scott Stark able to get that timeout called before the ball went out of bounds. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll keep you going here in the first. It's Lindenwood 1, Maryville 1. You got all the action of the GLVC championships right here on the GLVC Sports Network. 2:47 to go, first quarter here at Hunter Stadium. Great start by both of these teams defensively. Not a lot of opportunities on the offensive side for these two teams. I'm Jim Powers, Dominic Kosher next to me. For the first game here today, it's going to be, we knew it was going to be a good one, and it's living up to the billing here in the start. Scott Stark needed to get that timeout, that play right before he got the timeout. Ball was almost in just a no-man area to where it was either out of bounds or something not good was going to happen. So a heads-up call by the head coach for Maryville to get that timeout.
In his first season, too, making veteran calls like that, had to be confident with him on the sidelines if you're Maryville, and especially against this Lindenwood team, like we mentioned in pregame, that they know each other so well. Stark, of course, being here before.
Maryville with the pill. They're going to bring it around now. 26 on the shot clock. Now looking to attack. That's going to be Ben Foster. Shot is going to go wide. Race. Who gets it? Lindenwood does. Great hustle by Alex Eubank on getting his stick just out in front of the Maryville attacker.
That's the impact of Eubank, but Olsen was wide open on that far side. Would have had a clear chance at scoring if the ball would have been able to get to him. The shot could have been a pass. Couldn't really tell. It went to the right side of the ground, took a weird bounce too, and that's when it went over Olsen. So tough break that time for Maryville. A good idea, but the execution just a little bit off, and would have been the second goal of the game for them.
And these two teams played two instant classics in the regular season. They split it 1-1. Maryville had the battle back in the fourth to force the overtime, and Tyler Wink got the game winner just in the early stages of the overtime. And then game number two, as we're going to have a whistle, and that's going to be a turnover on Lindenwood. I think they're going to get a crease violation on the Lions. And then in game number two here at Hunter Stadium, Maryville led the majority of the way, but then Lindenwood put together just an unbelievable run to get the victory. And there's a turnover, and coming up with it, it's going to be Carter Collins.
You were mentioning a turnaround for Lindenwood that game back on April 6th. A 4-0 scoreline in the fourth quarter is what turned the game in favor of Lindenwood. And you mentioned instant classics. There's so much talent on both sides in red and in white, and that's what's made these two games so competitive before, and you've already seen it so far through the first quarter here where it's still 1-1, how competitive it is already here in the semifinal.
Now they'll bring it back up top to the point. They'll get it to Jones. Jones, he's going to swing it over to the left-hand side. He's being checked up top by Koning. Now Jones is going to try and take it in. Shot. It's going to be a great shot unassisted. Leonard Jones puts it in to give Lindenwood a 2-1 lead.
What confident play that time by Jones on that far side. Defenders all around him just kind of tucked it and went under him and was able to get right in front of the goal. When you give a player like Jones that kind of room, he's usually not going to make a mistake of it. Didn't get to play against Rockhurst in their final game of the regular season. Had the opportunity to rest a little bit, back now, and look how impactful and dangerous a player like Leonard Jones can be when he's healthy and when he's back in the Lindenwood starting lineup.
His 17th goal of the season gives Lindenwood a 2-1 lead with 2.5 to go here in the first. Winner moves on to the championship Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock, right back here at Hunter Stadium. And once again, another draw won by Lindenwood. They've controlled the dot the whole game. If I'm not mistaken, they're a perfect 4-4 when it comes to face-offs. Lindenwood with the pill back behind the net. Cam Smith looking to see what they can come up with. There's a loose ball on the ground. It's going to go out of bounds. That's an unforced error by the Lions. And now here come the Saints, and then they throw it away. Coming up with it, it's going to be Andrew Haas. Now quickly they'll get it down the left side to Matthew Young. Nice crowd on hand. Each team allowed to have 200 people in attendance over on the far side. So it's great to see fans in the stands here at Hunter Stadium for the semifinals and for the championships. Nice move back behind the net by Weiss. Now they'll bring it back out and around, give Maryville a chance to reset their defense. Drive, shot, wide. And they're going to say Lindenwood was able to get the stick out, so it'll be Lions Pill. And that'll be a fresh 80 on the shot clock.
Well, it was starting to make a living on that far side. You saw the goal by Jones. It was set up earlier by Smith for the first goal for Lindenwood. That time Collins, too, just going right past the defenders on that far wing for Maryville, and it keeps working. Expect Lindenwood and especially Collins to keep attacking on that far side and go right at Schneider.
Collins with it over on the left wing. Now he'll turn, shot up high, wide, and it's going to be Lindenwood Pill as Alex Weiss able to come up with it and track it down. Now he'll bring it over to the right-hand side. See a lot of teams, every now and then they like to favor a side. These two teams don't favor a side. They're going to come at you from the left and the right because they've got great attackers that are able to make those shots from both sides of the goal.
And it makes it so hard to adjust. If you're the opposing defense, that's why they're the top two defenses in the GLVC. You're going to see it so far today. But when you have options like that, it opens up the whole offensive set.
Shot wide by Horstman. 19 seconds to go here in the period. A quick pace to period number 1 here at Hunter Stadium. Lindenwood trying to put one on the board here in the latter stages of the first. Good defense by the Saints. They're really pushing Glazier out front. Now we're going to have a flag. Somebody's going to go to the house. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and get Declan Mulholland. Got to stick up just a little too high and around the neck area. Actually, no, they're going to get Brendan Schneider.
Yeah, he has the unfavorable matchup with Carter Collins. I don't know how you have to really deal with a player of Collins' capabilities, but he's the one assigned with that task here today, and there's not really much you can do that time. Just trying to play more physical because it's so hard to stop a player of his speed and then the power, too, that Collins possesses, and in doing so, he was sent off, or a Maryville player was sent.
Well, we were right. It was actually Mulholland. It was Mulholland. Mulholland kind of got to say, no, it's not you, it's me. But then, you know, the referees came over and were able to get everything situated. So 3.7 to go. Lindenwood is going to have it pretty much, I want to say they're going to spot it up top. So a good area for the Lions to be able to get at least one shot off in the final 3.7.
And you likely know who that shot's coming from, too.
There's no doubt about it. They're looking for number 21 over on the left side. So 32nd holding call on Maryville. Now they've got it situated once again. They're going to say it was going to be on Schneider. Lindenwood will let the clock run out. A great first period if you like defense. Lindenwood leads the number 1 seed. They lead the number 4 seed Maryville 2-1. We got second quarter action coming up next right here on the GLVC Sports Network. Second quarter action getting ready to go. Lindenwood will have a man-up situation still to start things off, though, about 27 seconds left.
And now over here is Schneider taking it. It changes every time, but now it's Braden Schneider over here. He's the one that's sent off, so we've seen two different players go off and on. So now it's Schneider, and that looks like the man advantage for Lindenwood. and such a dangerous team, especially in this situation. So many options to score. We've seen Smith make an impact already, Glazier getting a goal, and Leonard Jones as well. But now you have to keep your eyes on 21, of course. We haven't said Tucker's name too much. He's had a couple of chances, but hasn't been able to score. Watch out for him. He's number 44, standing between the hash marks.
Here's the man-up opportunity for the Lions. They'll rotate around. They are very, very good on the man-up. Now they'll work it out front. They'll get it to Collins. Collins now swings it over. Trying to go low. They're not going to go past. There's a ground ball, and that's going to kill a little bit of time to Maryville's advantage. And we should be coming up on it. They should have the release, and they do. So 0 for 1 on the man-ups now for Lindenwood as Maryville goes back to full strength, and now Lindenwood will go back to their normal offense and working back behind the pipes. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Cam Smith with it. Now they go up front. It's thrown away. His foot race to see if they can save it before it goes out of bounds, and they do. But that ripped off about 7 seconds on the shot clock, so now it's under 20. Pass up top, good save, shot, great block underneath. Good save by Connor Robinson because that was an absolute blast from the top by Haas. And now here come the Saints. And swing it over, Foster now looking. Bring it back out front, that's Jacob Allen. And you'll see both teams making subs, trying to keep fresh legs. I mean, shortened season. Both these teams played a conference-only schedule this season, and normally you got 2 or 3, non-con games to kind of, add on to the season. But this year has been a condensed schedule due to COVID protocols. And I want to say this, and I'm going to say this a lot throughout the weekend. You got to give a lot of credit to the administrators and to the athletic trainers and everybody for making sure everybody can participate and get this season. And turnover for Maryville, ground ball caused, and now Lindenwood's going to come up the left-hand side with it. That's Shimowitz.
I do want to stay on that point, though. So many different things to manage on a day-by-day basis, what each athlete has to go through, what each coach has to as well. So much goes into it to making sure a season like this works, and during a pandemic, by the way, as well, in case you didn't know. So much contributing to this difficult season, but these two teams have done such a great job. The conference as a whole has done such a great job in just keeping this season floating and going through.
A lot of credit to the ADs, the presidents, and GLVC Commissioner Jim Namovich and his staff for, making sure that everybody can get this spring season, especially after losing the spring season last year for the most part. Lindenwood with the pill, bringing it out. That's going to be Jones onto the left-hand wing. He'll push it back up top to Carter Collins. Collins comes off that pick up top. Good work by the Saints defense. There's a shot that's going to go wide, and it'll be Lindenwood possession with 15 on the shot clock. Now we've got a long whistle. All right, here we go. We go back to work. Shot is going to be wide once again. That time putting it on. That's going to be Nolan Corker, senior from right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Now Lindenwood's got to speed things up. 5 on the shot clock. Go up to the point, and what a great shot. Bounces it in. That's Carter Collins, his 34th of the season.
He's already had 4 shots, make that his 5th. He's been active, hasn't been able to score until that moment right there. Again, set up by Smith. His vision has been on point so far, and Collins, a different and kind of unique shot by him. It took a hop and such a difficult one to save if you're Robinson, who's played well so far. Already made 2 great saves. But that time, it's just a difficult one to read right off the turf and going straight up with that kind of power behind it, too. Not many players can really do it as well as Carter Collins can, and it led to that goal. And like you said, 34 now on the season. We have 2 players on the field today that are just outstanding goal-scoring numbers between Collins and Foster, and that time it was Collins who was able to strike.
And a violation on the draw, and Lindenwood's going to come up with it. They're now a perfect 5 of 5 on the dot here in the game.
In the conference this season, Lindenwood number 2 in faceoff percentage, right behind Rocker. So this is a team that hasn't just excelled in that portion here tonight, but they've done so all season.
Shot by Collins is going to go wide, but standing back there is Cam Smith as the safety valve. So Lindenwood will have the pill back behind the net. Now they'll bring it back up top. They'll work it around. Over on the left-hand side now, Collins with it. Swings it over to the right. Going to put it on the net of Weiss. Weiss looks, shot, saved by Robinson.
I want to talk about Robinson. I mean, a freshman here playing in his first ever postseason, first ever season here at Maryville as well, and look what he's doing. I mean, he looks like a veteran in goal, and he's going against one of the top offenses, not just in the conference, but in the entire nation, and he's looking extremely confident and composed in goal.
Freshman from Buffalo, New York. That shot's going to go up high and sail out of bounds over on the far corner.
Again, that's Collins, and he just continues to find that room. An underrated portion of his game is his reading of the situation. He always knows where to be and always where to be in the open space, too. And Lindenwood, they always have their eyes open, looking for number 21, and that time they were able to find him, but he just went a little bit too powerful over the crossbar.
Weiss over on the right-hand side. He's going to try and get inside. Shot from the wing, saved once again, and that time the Saints are going to come up with it. Robinson, use the old hockey term, standing on his head right now to keep the Saints 2 goals back.
Already 4 saves for him. He's always going down low, can go anywhere. And Lindenwood, they're facing a brick wall right now in goal. They've scored a couple times already, but it could be a lot more right now if it wasn't Robinson in goal.
But the goals that they've scored, they've had to really work for them and make some passes that have made Robinson have to move a little bit to open up the backside. So, really the defense is doing well. Maryville's got to get their offense going, and they've got to get Jake Foster more involved, especially in this possession. You've got a great opportunity after a couple outstanding saves by Robinson.
Yeah, it's all about taking the momentum on one side to the other. Robinson has to rejuvenate this offense. It's been slow so far, but they scored the first goal of the game. They can beat Simowitz. They've already done it once. You have to take that energy from one side and what you're seeing your goalie do and take it on the offensive end.
Foster with it. Now he's going to swing it over to Kay. Kay now gets it down low. 15 on the shot clock. See a phony with it. Now they'll go back up top to the left wing. Looking, trying to attack. There's the rotate around. He's got to put something on goal, and that's going to go away, and that's going to be a shot clock violation on Maryville.
This Lindenwood defense, since they gave up a goal, it might have been the first possession of the game, just nothing. Yet that was really the first possession we've had in a little bit that Maryville's been able to at least get some sort of challenge against Simowitz, but still no shots on goal, and that's due to the incredible play of this defense right now. And you have Kahlberg, we've mentioned him. He's not the only one back there that's made a difference too. Right now, this Lindenwood team proving why they're number 11 in the country, not just excellent offense, breaking through a really good defense that Maryville has, but also really shutting down this Saints offense on the other end.
Jones with it. Now he's going to bring it down the left-hand wing. Now they'll rotate it around. They'll get it to Smith. Smith will bring it out. They're keeping it on the left side right now. Looking to attack. That's going to be Tucker. Tucker loses it. Ground ball picked up by the Saints, and that's Aiden Koenig. Koenig is going to get it across, and that's going to be a clear, and we're going to have a flag down. So right now, Maryville has a free opportunity, and then they'll get a man up.
How about that play by Koenig that time, too? From one end, being able to win it against multiple different lines and still staying physical going the other way.
Shot is just going to miss, but the Saints will come up with it. Good opportunity by Maryville, but a nice job by Simowitz to just kick it out enough to where it wasn't going to find the back part of the goal. Once again, we still have a flag down. Shot, that's going to be wide. That's going to go out of bounds.
How about that possession? So we talked about him on the defensive end. He had the 2 shots as well that time for Koenig, just taking it from defense to offense. What a player overall. He can be excellent on one side of the ball, excellent on the other side too, and that time led the way, and now he has his team up a man advantage and down by 2. This is a perfect opportunity to jumpstart this Maryville offense. Has been looking for a breakthrough. Perfect opportunity to do so.
Glazier's going to go to the house. I believe it's going to be a 30-second man-up opportunity for Maryville. Maryville's been pretty solid on the man-up all year long this year. And they'll say the call was pushing. So now the Saints with it. They'll rotate it around. Brings it back up. Foster looking over on the backside. Let's see if they can find him in space. Shot, and that's going to go wide. Good opportunity by Aiden Koenig, the freshman from Riverside, California. And the man up rolls away. Now the Saints, they got Jake Foster involved, and that shot's going to go just a little bit wide as well. Foster drives, nothing doing. They'll pass it back out front. Still a lot of time on the shot clock, and that shot by Ethan Olson's just going to go a little bit high on the corner there. It just seems like Maryville's just missing everything a little high right now.
And you have to be happy for Maryville. I mean, you're building up these possessions. Everyone's on sync with one another. The ball movement has been on point. They're getting closer and closer, and eventually they're going to find that breakthrough that they've been looking for.
Foster with it over on the left wing. Trying to turn the corner. Great defense by Kohlberg. And we're going to have a cause turnover, and coming up with the ground ball, that is going to be Jordan Knowles.
Just really physical play that time by Foster. Nearly miraculously got that shot off, but eventually it was just too many defenders against him, and Knowles stuck with him the entire time and ended up winning the battle. It's going to be one to watch out for the rest of the game. Those two going at it, but that time you have to favor Knowles.
Shot, then a goal. Great work by Lindenwood taking advantage of the loose pill. Glazier's going to pick up the goal. But that was caused by, luckily he comes up with that because Maryville's defense did a great job in causing the turnover. But the backside guy was right there, able to put it back into the back of the net. And now Lindenwood at the 6:15 mark leads 4-1.
It was great positioning that time by Glazier. An unlucky break for Maryville. They just lost him at the far post, and kind of an awkward shot from Glazier, but he'll take it anyway. Just fell right to him. Collins running up that near side. And again, what was the point we made pregame? How many eyes he attracts every time he has the ball. And that time, everyone was focused on Collins. It freed up Glazier, and again, he made no mistake. What a game for him already.
Glazier is 11th goal of the season. How about Lindenwood in the dot right now? They are a perfect 6 of 6. 5 of 5, and then 1-1 with a violation. So now the Lions, once again, working behind the net. They're going to bring it over to the near side. They'll get it to Haas. Haas back up top. Gets it to Horstman. Horstman going to come to his left. He's going to put a shot up, but that's going to come off the pipe, and it'll be Maryville ball.
What an effort. Had the power, just a little bit unlucky to hit the post, but right now Lindenwood's offense, they're in sync. They're moving the ball well. They're moving the ball quickly down the field, too, and almost too quick so far for Maryville in the recent minutes. And that time, Horstman, he's only scored 1 goal on the year, but he has the confidence, as most of these attackers have, to put it on goal, and that time nearly went in.
You got to get Jake Foster involved. He's only had 1 shot so far. Maryville almost turns it over at midfield, but then they're able to come up with, and they'll get the clear attempt just in time.
Also got to get Olsen involved. He hasn't had a shot yet. Their number 2 goal scorer, and coming into this game hasn't been involved either.
A lot of credit goes to the Lindenwood defense right now. They're doing an outstanding job in keeping Foster in check, and you've seen the matchup over on the far side. Kohlberg, I think he has one job and one job alone. Do not let Jake Foster touch the pill.
And there's not many more difficult jobs in the conference than that, but so far he's done it well.
And a bad pass, foot race, and coming up with it is going to be chipped out. Lindenwood's going to come up with it, so they'll get the ground ball.
Came all the way to Beauchart at that time. He was in the right place, right time. No Maryville attacker in sight. There's a tight battle on that far sideline for a bit, but Lindenwood ended up being able to win it. Again, Maryville they had that good run of possessions, but since then, it's mainly been Lindenwood controlling the game, controlling the flow of the game as well. And here it is again. Watch out for Jones getting on the field on the near side. Fresh legs for him. He scored the 2nd goal of the game for Lindenwood. Don't expect him to be done with the numbers he's put up so far this season, as he's starting to get into a rhythm.
Now, the one thing you have to keep in mind, though, as we roll into this thing, Maryville's been in this situation against the Lions before, because in the first game back in February down at Maryville, the Saints were down at one point by 4 goals in the second half and battled all the way back to get the overtime and then get the overtime winner. So the Saints, they know how to maneuver through being down 3 goals, at one point of the game. Shot up, and he's going to find top shelf and that's going to be an outstanding shot from the point by Grant Glazier. That's going to be his third of the game. He's got the early hat trick for the Lions, and they now lead 5-1 with 3:35 to go.
Again, great ball movement by Lindenwood, but Glazier having one of his best games of the season, and what an occasion for that best game to come in. Against this Maryville team, such a good defense, but Glazier, they keep finding him in electric spots, and he doesn't make any mistakes of it either. So his first hat trick of the year, had that big game against Rockhurst to try to get him some momentum going. He had 2 goals, 2 assists, turned that into a performance in the playoffs, and now he's on a roll. 3 goals in the first half, and Grant Glazier currently being the leading force for this Linwood offense. It has so many other options in it. You don't really think about Glazier too much, but now you have to with the impact he's already made.
Glazier, 3 shots. 3 shots on goal, 3 goals, 3 points. Great first half for Glazier. Once again, another win on the draw by Lindenwood. If that's one thing that's going to drive head coach Scott Stark and his assistant Chris Burke nuts, is they're not getting it done right now on the face-off. And that's hurt them here in the second quarter especially.
Because you're putting yourself behind from the very beginning of each possession, and doing so you have to go back each time, and it's starting to wear them out.
Slide, let's see, ball loose, but still coming up with it. It's going to be Lindenwood grabbing it off the ground. That's going to be Corker. Now they'll go back up to the point. Shot bounces just wide. That was Tucker.
Just not a clean shot that time. It looked a little bit awkward coming out of his netting, and he went well wide and never really had a chance of beating the impressive freshman Robinson.
They'll bring it back up to the point. Jones with it. Jones looking. Doesn't see anything. Good job defensively by Koenig. Now they'll bring it back down. They'll kind of try and see if they can get something going back behind the net, but really a nice job by the Saints. Now 3 on the clock. Shot blocked. Wow. Tell you what, they got a good look at it, but Connor Robinson up to the task back behind the net. And what about him? Already 5 saves.
And that time, just kind of nowhere to go. 3 seconds left. That's how dangerous Lindenwood can be in their possessions. They can take it all the way down and still get a good chance at the very last second. But Robinson, with only an attacker in sight, able to make this stop. He's kept Maryville in this game so far. We talked about it earlier. Now it's time for the offense to look at what Robinson's doing and turn it into something on the opposite side of the field.
Wink with it. Now they'll bring it back up top. Lindenwood really pushing the Saints offense up high in the attacking zone. Now looking to drive. That's going to be Foster. Foster, they rotate it around quickly. Good pace to the passes on this possession by Maryville. And that's what you got to do to get that Lions defense moving. You just got to have some crisp passes. Now they'll take it back behind the pipes once again. There's a screen trying to free up Olsen. You mentioned it a moment ago. Olsen's only had 1 opportunity. Now they'll swing it over. Foster rips it. That's going to go wide. But that's what they're looking for. With 10 on the shot clock, that's what they're looking for, is to get those 2 in sync and trying to find a way to break through. Now they'll look. 2, shot, save. Great work by Lindenwood, and Connor Simowitz, the senior from San Diego, California, stops the blast from the left wing. And so Lindenwood now, with under a minute to go, will look to really put an insurance goal on leading into the halftime locker room.
It was a good look for Ben Foster, but just really well read by Simowitz. And that time, Maryville's offense, a couple good chances. Again, the ball movement was strong. Take that into the halftime break with a little bit of confidence. You're starting to form yourself a little bit more comfortably on the offensive end. Turn that into a more solid product in the second half.
Over on the right wing. Spinning off, that's going to be Weiss. Underneath, shot, bounce, goal. Cam Smith with 7.5 to go in the half. He puts one just like the shot we saw earlier. Bounced it just past Robinson. Robinson tried to go low and just came right up over his shoulder off the bounce for the 6th goal of the half.
And again, Maryville just losing sight of a Lindenwood attacker, and we saw it with Glazier on the far post earlier on in this second quarter, and it led to an easy goal for him. That time they just completely lost Smith, and it gave him that much room, and he's not going to make a mistake. What a first half for Smith, by the way. Goal and 2 assists, just 3 shots, and he's been strong on those 3 efforts.
Andrew Hose with the assist. And that's going to get thrown out of bounds, and that's going to do it for half number one. And as much as you like what Connor Robinson's done between the pipes, Lindenwood has put themselves in a great situation going into the halftime locker room. They lead Maryville by a score of 6-1. We're going to step aside. When we come back after seeing about some of the great things that are going on around the GLVC, we'll have the first half stats, and we'll get you set for half number two. It's number 1 seed Lindenwood leading the number 4 seed Maryville Saints 6-1. We'll be back in a few minutes right here on the GLVC Sports Network.
Family. Family is this notion of belonging to something that is just a little bit greater than oneself. In the Great Lakes Valley Conference, we pride ourselves on our shared core values. As a whole, we are comprised of like-minded institutions striving to achieve a common goal of high-level success, both in the classroom and in athletic competition. Individually, though, that's where we begin to look just a little bit different. Public state schools, private institutions, urban communities, rural campuses. So whether it's within the GLVC community, the structure of our campuses, as well as the neighborhoods around our schools, we all recognize that everyone is going to come to the table with a different set of experiences that should be respected and celebrated. We are all diverse. Diversity is complex and celebratory. Diversity is essential. Being inclusive means that we recognize that engagement must be intentional, authentic, and sincere. But most importantly, it must be at the forefront of our daily behavior. In doing so, we should listen to each other authentically with our most intentional effort. But remember this right here, none of this is easy. It requires hard work. When we fail to see the needs of those around us, their social, spiritual, emotional, and intellectual needs, when we fail to allow for differences to be recognized and celebrated, when we fail to accept those differences, we fail ourselves, our community, we fail our team, and in fact, we fail each other. We learn throughout our lives that in order to be successful, we must collaborate. We should always listen to those expectations and charges of those whom we answer to, our parents, guardians, elders, mentors, professors, and our coaches. So let's do something bold, something courageous, something different. Find someone you don't know and get to know them. Find those who have a different language, race, religion, or a different zip code than yours and bring them into your circle of friends. As we pursue these new relationships and as we grow as a family, please know that there is nothing wrong with maintaining one's individuality. That is so significant with regard to having a sound and solid sense of self. However, at the end of the day, we must recognize that this sense of self can't be the priority alone. We must commit ourselves to advancing the larger group. So let's be great together. Let's celebrate each other as a GLVC family.
Court to court and lane to lane, under the lights or under the sun. No one delivers Division II sports like NCAA.com. The center of D2 is inside the NCAA.com hub with exclusive highlights of every sport and live broadcasts of every Division II championship found nowhere else. Make NCAA.com yours, the home of Division II college sports.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
We see the smiles, we see the greetings, but now they're more than 6 feet away. Now they are buildings away, cities away, states away. This is the new normal. This is the new way to communicate. Is it the preferred way? Of course not. A family works best interacting in person. We have to understand that no matter the borders that surround us, that surround our thoughts, that in this world of talking within a box, we must continue to think outside the box to talk about real issues, real change as a GLVC family.
We welcome you back to Hunter Stadium on the campus of Lindenwood University in St. Charles, Missouri. Glad to have you with us. I'm Jim Powers, Dominic Hosher alongside, and Lindenwood leads 6-1. They're the number 1 seed coming in. Maryville, the number 4 seed. But, Dominic, you're looking at the first half stats. I'll tell you what's jumping out to me. Lindenwood has outshot the Saints 24-11, but I think the biggest issue right now is the face-offs. 8 for 8 for the Lions. They've really put a lot of pressure on Maryville right off the gate from the face-off dot.
Yeah, we mentioned that in the first half, how nearly every time Maryville has to track backwards and always have to start each possession with their backs against the wall, and in doing so, more and more confidence is going towards this Lindenwood offense, and it's led to goal after goal and a big 5-goal lead at the half. But while the Saints trail, we were looking at the halftime stats, and then also the first meeting of the year between these two teams. Maryville gave up 6 goals in the first half, went into that halftime break trailing 6-4. Of course, a little bit more of a deeper hole to climb out of here, down by 5. But this is a team that has confidence coming back against this Linwood Lions squad, and I have the faith in this Maryville team being able to turn around, but it all starts, of course, off the face-offs, and you mentioned it, how they've struggled, not able to win one yet, but also have to get their lead offensive options more involved. Whether it's Olsen or others, have to start getting them more involved in the offense.
Tyler Wink with the only goal for Maryville, but then Glazier with 3, Smith with 1, Collins with 1, Jones with 1. And we'll get going here, and Maryville comes up with the face-off, their first win in the dot here in the game. So that's a great start for the Saints. Now let's see if they can capitalize on it.
They scored the first goal in the first half all the way back in the early portion of the first quarter. Haven't been able to do anything since, though, so we'll see if this is the turning point that they needed, winning a face-off and now getting a little bit more confidence with their offense now in possession.
They'll bring it back up top. Handling it, it's going to be Allen. Allen's going to take it over to the right-hand side to Wink. Wink passes it down. That's going to be an unforced error, and that's been killing Maryville as well, is they've had 4 unforced errors that have really switched the tide a little bit over to Lindenwood.
And now have 13 turnovers overall in the game. That's 4 more than what Lindenwood has, and in doing so, you're just completely stopping all that momentum that we were just talking about. You're turning it over quickly. You're trying to build up a little bit of a long possession and get a chance against Simonwood's in goal with a loose pass like that. Unable to really get any of that confidence that they very much needed.
So they'll work it around the outside. Once again, back behind the pipes. They'll get it to the player of the year, Carter Collins, over on the left wing. Now they'll bring it back up top. Saints got to get a couple defensive stands right now if they want to get any opportunity to get back into this thing. Lindenwood has just been applying pressure all afternoon. Shot, and a great touch pass, and a great shot by Glazier. And what a game for Glazier. 4 shots, all on goal, 4 goals. Lindenwood leads 7-1.
He has been ridiculous. And some of those goals, they don't look like the hardest ones, but it's all due to his positioning. Again, just finding a hole in the opposing defense, and have to credit the job that Jones did that time, too, when setting it up. And again, another beautiful assist for Lindenwood. But Glazier just getting in the right spot at the right time. It's been the reason for a couple of his goals already here today, and now the reason for goal number 4. And you were talking about the numbers. Just ridiculous performance here by Glazier. The most goals he scored in a game all season coming into today were 2, and now it's 4 after his dominant performance so far here today. So a perfect start, despite losing the faceoff, to this second half for Lindenwood.
13 goals on the year. He had 9 coming into the action today. Give the assist to Leonard Jones. So Maryville will get the ball on the violation. So each team now with a violation on the draw. Saints will bring it down. Foster with it. Now they'll pass it back up top. They'll get it to Kay. Kay swings it over. Looking. Now they'll bring it back behind. Foster with it. Going to try and shoulder in. Shot is going to go just wide by Foster, but Maryville will come up with it. Good work and hustling was Ethan Olsen.
That time is just giving one of your star players the ball and letting him do the rest. That time creating a chance for himself was Foster. Just got to start to do that a little bit more. Trust him to be able to create his own opportunities.
And there's Foster there, but it caused turnover by Kahlberg. And once again, we talked about that's his job. He is not to let Jake Foster have any breathing room, and Kahlberg causes the turnover, and the Lions are able to come up with it. Now they're going to try and go on a clearing attempt.
One of the main reasons why Lindenwood is up right now is because of that man you just mentioned. And this is a team that had a dominant win against Rockhurst, and that was the end of the season against a Rockhurst team. Of course, they're playing Indy here tonight. Such a really good, well-balanced team. Lindenwood outshot them in that game 62-24. So Lindenwood's coming into this with all sorts of confidence, and there he goes through the roof right now. And coming here at home as number 1 seed, we talked about the pressure beforehand. They haven't looked like they've been feeling the pressure, at least so far today.
Shot that's going to go wide, putting it on net. That's going to be Horstman, once again the junior from Wildwood, Missouri.
He's had a couple good chances so far today. We mentioned he's only scored 1 goal entering today's game, but that hasn't stopped him from being aggressive again, finding room on that near side, generating the opportunity, but just missing.
So Lindenwood with it over on the left. Now they'll bring it back up top to the point. Collins with it. Trying to drive. Good defense that time by Mulholland. Now they'll pass inside. There's that bounce shot once again. And that time putting it in, that's going to be Andrew Haas. And now quickly it's turned into an 8-1 lead for the Lions.
You have to wonder if Robinson maybe wasn't expecting the shot there. Haas had his back towards the goal as soon as he got it, but then quickly made that spin and just flew it towards goal. Of course, it took that weird bounce and a difficult one to read, but it was so quick that maybe Robinson just wasn't ready for it, and it led to the goal. But right now, this Linwood offense, they're flowing, and at this rate, it's against the number 2 defense in the conference. We kept putting emphasis on that. The top 2 defenses in the GLVC going against each other makes it all the more impressive what they're doing. But still a lot of time left in this game, but a 7-goal deficit. If you're going to want to get back into it, it has to be quick if you're the Saints.
And there's a violation. And Lindenwood's going to have it after the second violation on the Saints on the dot. The one thing I'm going to say is 3 goals now have been on bounce shots. You think maybe Lindenwood saw something in film study and scouting and all that to think, okay, maybe if we go and force Robinson to look low and then get that bounce shot up high. Once again, just some great stuff. That's going to go off the pipe. Lindenwood's going to come up with it. But once again, that's the importance of scouting, and especially in lacrosse, you got to figure out what goalies, especially as good of a goalie as Connor Robinson has been all year, how can we get something past him?
I'm thinking you're right, Jim. We've seen him so far today. Most of his excellent saves, again, that one there, have been line drive shots. He's reading them well, especially in the first half, going low to make them too. But the ones he hasn't been able to really have an answer for are those ones that take a bounce. Obviously, we talk about how difficult they are to make a save on a bouncing shot like those. And he just hasn't had an answer for him. But when their line drive's coming at him, he's been able to read them, and that's the cause of his 6 saves.
So Lindenwood with it over on the left wing. Trying to rotate it around, it's Jones. Jones, shot by Collins, and that's going to go wide. They're going to say it went off of Lindenwood. It'll be Maryville possession.
The Lindenwood coaching staff, they can't believe it, but it looks like you were right about that, though, Jim. And now a chance for Maryville. Go quickly here.
And there's a steal, turnover, shot, goal. All created by Carter Collins, the senior from Prior Lake, Minnesota. He gets the turnover, gets the transition, and the next thing you know, it's now 9-1 Lindenwood, and we're not even 5 minutes into the period. Scott Stark needed to get a timeout at that point.
He did. Give your team a rest. Difficult start to the half, and that time we're starting to look down the field, and that's how quickly Lindenwood can strike, and especially Carter Collins.
We're going to step aside for a quick 30-second timeout. When we come back, we'll keep you going here in period number 3. It's the men's lacrosse semifinals in the Great Lakes Valley Conference, and you got all the action right here on the GLVC Sports Network.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
The number 1 seed in the postseason tournament, Lindenwood leads Maryville by a score of 9-1. And a great timeout called by Scott Stark at that point, because it was starting to spiral real quick on the Saints, and he needed to just get his guys to catch their breath a little bit. So, once again, first-year head coach, but a veteran move right there by the Maryville head coach. But the big thing right now, you got to win a face-off. Let's see if the Saints can come up with it. And we're going to have a fight for it. We're going to have a hold. And they're going to say Lindenwood gets the possession on the violation.
You're right about how well needed that timeout was, but of course you had to win the draw right after that too. If you want to just reflect on what's gone wrong so far, and that's the main big reason, and not being able to really get anything going offensively. At that time, they turned the ball over as soon as they got it almost, and it led to the goal for Collins, and it ended up being an easy one once he got it. But you just got to reset, unable to do so when you're having your backs against the wall once again.
Johnny Major, 10 of 12 on faceoffs in the game so far, just doing a terrific job on the dot. So Lindenwood with it. Now they're going to look, drive, shot, save. But then off the rebound, coming up with it, it's Collins, shot, and once again another save that's going to be hit out of Robinson's net, but he's going to be able to come up with it. So a couple real nice saves that time for Maryville. They've got to try and get this momentum switch. Believe it or not, you think an eight-goal deficit is insurmountable, but in lacrosse, that could switch. In the blink of an eye, and we just saw 2 goals in a matter of 10 seconds down here on the other side. Foster with it behind the net.
Almost more than any other sport, you get 1 goal, just turns the momentum for everything, and as they turn it over that time. But all you need is that one. You see the ball go in the back of the net that one more time, you get the confidence that can continue to go in the back of the net past Simowitz as well. They just need that first one, and another turnover is going to make it really hard to come by to get that first goal since the early part of the first quarter.
Lindenwood with a 17-3 advantage. Shots on goal. Clears. Maryville's 10 of 14. Lindenwood 8 of 9. Lindenwood has caused 10 turnovers, and Lindenwood has 23 ground balls compared to only 11 for the Saints. So, the score is indicative, and the stat line is really indicative of how our first semifinal is going. Semifinal number 2 will start at 6:30 right here on the GLVC Sports Network. We'll have the number 2 seed UIndy taking on the number 3 seed Rockhurst. And once again, just a big-time battle to see who will move on to the championship game Sunday at 1 o'clock right here at Hunter Stadium. Lindenwood trying to see what they can get. That's Weiss. Weiss kicks it over to the left wing to Horstman. Now they'll look to rotate. They'll take it back around. They're going to take their time. They are in no hurry whatsoever. Pass up top, 9 on the shot clock. There's really a great blast from the wing, and you could tell that Carter Collins is not real happy. He thought he had something there, but it's going to go out of bounds. It'll be a violation on the shot clock, so Maryville will get possession, and ground ball is going to go out of bounds, and there's another unforced error by the Saints.
Moving almost too quick now. They know they need goals in a hurry, but you can't move too fast for your own defense to really manage. And we talked about in the beginning of the game, both teams are winning at the midfield. Right now, they can't even get to the midfield if they can't get the ball out of their own end. So they just need to slow things down. I know you need 8 goals and you need them quick, but you're starting to move a little bit too fast, and it's leading to turnover after turnover. And the more turnovers you get, the more opportunities that Collins and company are going to have to attack Robinson.
Corker just let one rip that went very high over the net and out of bounds, but Lindenwood right to where they needed to be to keep the possession in their end. Shot ground ball is going to be bounced around, and it'll stay with Lindenwood. See, the Lions really trying to go low right now on Connor Robinson because they know anything up high, for the most part, he's been all over. Shot, point, save. Great work by Connor Robinson. But they're going to say a violation, and it will stay with Lindenwood.
There was some contact. Again, really good setup play by Collins. The flying glazier. How many times have we said that today? And Collins found him right in the middle, and it led to the contact, and now a reset in the possession.
So Lindenwood with it. That's going to be Tucker here on the right wing. They'll go back behind. They'll rotate Collins this time back behind the net. Normally you don't see him back there that often. Shot, goal. Great work by Lindenwood once again. And another goal, I believe that is going to be Leonard Jones, the senior from St. Louis, Missouri. And it's now 10-1 Lindenwood.
And you were talking about it earlier, Jim, about how this Lindenwood team, they don't like to just stay on one side. They like to attack on the other two, left side, right side. It doesn't matter. And that time it was on the left end, and it was Jones just giving him the ball, let him do the rest. just taking on defenders, not being afraid of going right at someone, and again, just going right around them and past them and being able to find the back of the net. Jones having himself a day as well, but this whole Lindenwood offense, I mean, a 10-1 lead, that says all you need to know about how today's game's gone.
Jones with his 18th goal of the season and another face-off won by Lindenwood. Pass it back up top. They'll get it to Collins. Collins is now going to take it down a little deeper, and they'll bring it back up. Nice crowd on hand here. Once again, all the teams were allotted 200 fans to attend the semifinals and the championships on Sunday. Winner gets the automatic berth into the NCAA tournament. If you're Lindenwood, you're the number 11 team in the country. You don't want to take anything for granted. You want to make sure you're putting yourself into that conversation. And if they can hold on, this will go a long way into keeping them into that conversation on Sunday night. Shot wide by Lindenwood. Once again, that was Carter Collins.
Yeah, 2 wins look great, obviously, after a weekend like this. But you also look at the way you won, and this Lindenwood team, the way they beat Rockhurst at the end of the regular season, now the job they're doing against this Maryville team by the score line. It really just builds the better confidence and the better resume heading into that, like you mentioned, Sunday night.
And we're going to have a shot. Let's see. They're going to wave the goal off. I think we've got a flag down over on the far side. Be interesting to see what the officials are going to call. Lindenwood's 2 losses on the year, to Maryville and to UIndy. They are the only 2 teams that have been able to knock off the Lions during the regular season. Looks like the penalty is going to go on Lindenwood as everybody's starting to maneuver down to the left-hand side to the Maryville attacking area. It's going to be a holding call.
It seems like it's Haas who's the one who came over and taking the knee on the sideline now. So lots of contact there, and officiating has been on point so far today. Called that one as well, and a chance now for Maryville. Get yourself a goal, and like we said, you never know in lacrosse, especially in the postseason. A team that has nothing to lose now. You're down by 9, time to just put the gas pedal all the way down, and we'll see how this team does now. But a really good spot to try to get something going. You only have 30 seconds, though. Has to be quick.
Maryville 0 for 1 on the man-up opportunities. The officials, Drew Beckner, Clint Carter, and Greg Schneider. They've earned a right to be here this season. They've done an outstanding job, as well as all of our teams. Now Maryville goes to work in the man-up. Rotate around back behind the post. Now they'll swing it up to the point. Shot off the post. Aiden Koenig with just an absolute blast from the right side, but Maryville able to come up with it. But they're going to go 0-2 on the man up. But they'll have possession. Now they'll swing it across, and that's going to be a bad pass. It's going to sail out of bounds. It'll be Lindenwood possession with 4:46 to go here in the third.
That was forced by the really good pressure by this Lindenwood defense. Again, just suffocating the Maryville attack and leading to another turnover. Koenig getting the shot. He's already had 5 shots in this game. He's been the most active player in this Maryville attack, but just hasn't had the support around him, and the team hasn't had the finished product either. Outshot 41-14 here in this game, and it just shows how dominant Lindenwood has been, not just offensively, but then defensively, too, against a really good Maryville side.
18-9 in the turnover department for the Saints. And that's going to be a great drive. Rob Tucker, he knew there was going to be a point to where he was going to get his, and he did right there. Great drive from the right wing, took it in, took it right over the shoulder of Connor Robinson, and now it's 11-1, Lindenwood.
Starting to see the tired legs of Maryville holding them back, and that's all due to the possession completely favoring Lindenwood. They're controlling the game. How many times have they had it in the attacking half, and not just having it, but also having it for really long durations, too? They're wearing out the defense and all the players in red, and in doing so, it allows players like Tucker, who are fresh, just to be able to sprint right by them and get himself an easy goal-scoring opportunity. So make that 18 goals in the year for him. It's the second most on the team behind Collins, but this Maryville team, they're just out of gas right now.
Great work, though, that time by Jake Sosha. able to come up with the face-off on the ground ball. So now Maryville with an opportunity, and you almost got to think right now you've got to score every opportunity you get, and you can't run the clock down like you normally would like to. You've got to find some snipes real quick into the possession clock.
With just 3 shots on goal this game, they haven't been able to generate those opportunities, so this is the time to start doing it now.
And there's a shot that's going to go off of Lindenwood. That was Tyler Wink. So Maryville will have possession. Foster looks, drives, shot, goal. That's exactly what you need to see from the Saints in this time frame right now. Is you've got to see Wink, you've got to see Olsen, and you've got to see Jake Foster take control of this thing offensively, and you saw it right there.
Made something out of nothing, too, Jim. That time getting behind the goal, and there was defenders in the way. Didn't matter. Almost a Superman leap that time, and just going straight at it and acrobatically putting it to the top corner, too. I mean, the numbers this year for Foster, they're out of this world, and I've only seen one other player really replicate them, and that's Carter Collins on the other side. So credit that John Foster did that time. Fearless, and he knows, like we talked about earlier, nothing to lose now. Start putting more pressure on Simowitz, and that time he did so with an incredible goal that he's going to want to put on the highlight reel.
Back-to-back face-off wins. That was goal number 32 on a year for Foster. 3:10 to go here in the third. Still a lot of time in this game. Wink with it. Now we'll bring it back up top. Mitchell K down the left-hand side. Looking to get inside. Shot. Goal by the Saints. And the Saints are starting to feel something momentum-wise. Give the goal to Jacob Allen. And here we go quickly. Maryville scores 2 goals in a matter of 27 seconds. And it's now 11-3 Lindenwood.
What did we say in lacrosse? I mean, 1 goal can change the whole scheme of things, and look how quickly goals can file. Just the amount of time between those 2 goals, not a large margin, and now you're starting to see momentum.
But what's the key, though? Over the last 2 possessions, what did Maryville do? They won the draw and was able to turn that into a couple goals.
And you're putting yourself on the right foot right off the start of the possession. That's what Lindenwood's done so well all game. That's what they did well that time too. But that's what's put them up by such a large margin. Winning those couple draws, that's what turned the tide a little bit more in favor of Maryville. But now you have your backs against the wall. Can't afford to concede now. You're starting to get a little bit more momentum. You lose it all if you give up a goal here.
Chase Showalter picks up the ground ball off the face-off. Now Lindenwood. Coming up on 2 minutes to go here in the third. Great job defensively as they clogged up the middle. They tried to get it onto the point, but the Maryville defense able to step up. And now they've got Connor Robinson in no man's land behind the net, but Maryville able to come up with it. Still a fight for it. Maryville has it, but now you've got about 8 seconds to get it across on the clear. And the clear attempt is not going to be good. Once again, in lacrosse, you have 20 seconds from when the shot clock starts to get it across midfield on the clear. And that time the Saints weren't able to do it, but they were able to cause a turnover and pick up a ground ball. And grabbing that was Parker Lee. And we're going to have a flag. Now I think we're going to have a slashing call on Lindenwood. So the Saints will go on the man up once again. Haven't been able to convert one yet. And you can see head coach Jim Lang in his 8th season not real happy with the call.
He's starting to get his argument, and it's going to go against Lindenwood like we mentioned. And this is a team we talked about before the game and earlier on in the first quarter too. Maryville is so lethal, and when they're up by 1-man advantage, and they've scored 15 goals in that portion all season. That's the 3rd most per game in the GLVC. So they're a team that's done well all year, but just not here today, and that's due to the really well-shaped defense of Lindenwood. It's been on show and display all game long.
Matthew Young is going to go to the house after the slash. Saints on the man up. Great pass across. Foster's shot's just going to miss, but making the run is Maryville, so they'll have possession.
What a chance that was for Foster, though. Wide open on the near post, had the open netting, too. Just couldn't get a good connection.
Great pass across the front of the goal as well.
Yep.
So now the Saints with it. Shot, and that's going to find it. Great look that time by Justin Morgan. And the Saints have scored 3 straight. It's now 11-4. Maryville looking to make a run here at the end of the third.
Now 17 goals on the year for Morgan, who's been relatively quiet all game. We haven't talked about Morgan too much among those top goal scorers for this Maryville team, but that time just kind of an awkward shot. Didn't have too much power behind it, but it was all set up by the excellent ball movement and everyone just moving it well with one another, and in doing so, that opened up the opportunity for Morgan, and that's all it needed, that one little chance, and he was able to beat Simowitz. So now 3 consecutive goals. Maryville, they have the confidence. Can they turn that more into a finished product now?
And they got it on the man up as well.
Yep.
So unassisted goal by Justin Morgan makes it 11-4. Under a minute to go here in the third. Still a lot of lacrosse left to be played. Lindenwood going to look to maybe put a goal in here. They've been held scoreless over the last 4.5 minutes. Rotated around over on the far side. Tucker with it. Now Tucker's going to look. Try and probe down on the right-hand side, see if he can find anything, and nothing doing. They'll bring it back behind to Smith. Smith is going to take it over to the far side to Carter Collins. 23 seconds left in the period. Now they'll bring it back up top to the left wing. Pass inside, ball tipped away. Good work defensively. Looked like getting a stick on that was Declan Mulholland. Now the Saints are going to look to see if they can get something in transition quick. There's nothing wrong with that shot. There's nothing wrong with what the goalie did, because you never know what'll happen. 3 quarters in the books here in semifinal number 1 at Hunter Stadium. It's Lindenwood 11, Maryville 4. When we come back, fourth quarter action right here on the GLVC Sports Network. .45 minutes in the books. 15 more to go. Winner moves on to the championship on Sunday. Loser wraps up their season here at Hunter Stadium. I'm Jim Powers. Dominic Hoshner alongside, doing a great job with us here in his debut on the GLVC Sports Network. Does a great job in calling the Lindenwood games during the regular season, and we've got a good one kind of brewing here. But once again, I think the key, Dominic, is going to be in the face-off circle. If the Saints can win this draw and get something cooking, now it turns into be a more interesting game, and it looks like Maryville's going to get the violation. They'll go on the attack.
And something else I want to point out, 6 shots on goal for Maryville, 4 goals. As long as they get it on frame, they have to feel confident when they're going into the back of the net. They just have to get those opportunities. Comes with the ball movement, led to the goal recently by Morgan. Had to set up those chances, and when they get those opportunities right on frame, they're usually going in.
Lindenwood kind of switching things up a little bit. Now checking Jake Foster is going to be Preston Bochart, the sophomore from Watertown, Wisconsin. So we'll see how that matchup kind of plays out here, given a little bit of a breather. Shot and a great save that time by Simowitz, the senior from San Diego, California.
Read it well, kind of knew as soon as Foster got it that he was going to shoot it as soon as he had the opportunity to do so. So that gave Simowitz the opportunity just to be ready, get in position, and in doing so, had the net right in the right place to make the stop.
Third attempt is good for the Lions. Now they'll set things up, trying to set the screen up high for Leonard Jones. Jones over to the right. Now they'll put it into the net of Corker. Corker getting doubled, and they're really pushing him up high. Nice work by the Saints defense. You can see Jimmy Lang wanting a cross-check, and is not going to get that call, I don't think, right now. They really haven't called the cross-checks all day long. They got the one, but really they're letting the guys play, and that's a good thing. I mean, it's semifinal. You want to let them go, and there's a shot and a goal right there for Lindenwood to stop the run by the Saints, and that's Corker, the senior from St. Louis, Missouri.
Again, they're just sprinting right at the Maryville defense, Jim, and that's what's been working for them. They're just showing off the speed, and this is one of the quickest teams you'll see in the conference and in the nation this season, and they're just fearless and going towards the goal. And that time, Corker, we haven't talked about him too much. There's been a lot of different scoring options for Lindenwood today. You've had Glazier's 4, you've had Smith score and create 2 assists and a goal. Collins has done his usual, and now Corker gets his first of the day as well. So many different options, and that time Corker, fresh, energized, and that was all he needed in order to beat Robinson and company.
Corker with his 11th goal of the season, and now the officials are going to put their heads together, see what we have. Are they going to call a violation on Lindenwood? I believe that's what they're going to have. So they'll have the violation on the faceoff on Lindenwood. So Maryville will have possession with 13-14 to go here in period number 4. Saints will go to work. Once again, you see how high Lindenwood is forcing them defensively. Now Foster's going to look to attack. Gets it down behind. Going to get it to Olsen. Olsen spins. Shot just wide. Now a foot race. And they're going to say Lindenwood comes up with it.
Really good job by Olsen to create the opportunity for himself. And he did the hard part in just getting himself in that open space. But he really didn't have a good connection on the shot, and that's what led to it going wide and frustrating there for Maryville. Thought maybe he had a chance with Foster going behind the goal, but it didn't work out for him. Out Lindenwood can take more time off the clock.
Yeah, the defense for Lindenwood really, once again, they're forcing the Saints up high, but then when they look to drive, they're shouldering them the whole way down. I mean, and they're being very physical with their long sticks, and that's what you got to do against the Saints. There's a shot that's going to go wide, but having a stick there is going to be Carter Collins, and it'll be Lindenwood possession with 46 on the shot clock. See over on the far side, the UND Greyhounds, as they get ready for their game. Once again, semifinal number 2 at 6:30. It'll be the number 2 seed Greyhounds taking on number 3 Rockhurst. Kind of wish you can stick around for that game.
It's been fun, Jim. I've enjoyed it with you, and hopefully you get to call another good one there.
Absolutely. That shot's going to go wide. Lindenwood will maintain possession with 21 on the shot clock. I'm Jim Powers, Dominic Kosher alongside. Josh making sure we're doing everything the right way and running all of our graphics and our social media, doing an outstanding job here as well. And that shot's going to go wide. It'll be Saints possession after the shot clock violation. Over on the far side, that's going to be Mulholland. Mulholland's going to pass it up to the point to Parker Lee. Clearing attempt is going to be good. So now they'll rotate it over to the right. Tyler Wink with it now.
Seen a much different Maryville team offensively in this second half. A lot more aggressive on the offensive end. Went into the halftime break with just 3 shots on goal. Have since then been more and more pressure on Simowitz, and it's led to goals and led them trying to get back in this game. Still a long way to go, but can't be turning over the ball, and it looks like that's unfortunately for them what happened there.
Bad pass just went off of Ciafoni's stick, and so it'll be Lindenwood possession. And knowing this Lindenwood team, they are going to run as much off the shot clock as absolutely possible to try and limit the possessions for Maryville.
And now it becomes so much more difficult for them because they can be so quick in their possessions with all the speed they have, but also you have to, like you said, keep in mind they want as much time off the clock as they possibly can each time they have the ball in their possession. So it's hard to prepare for what they're going to do because they can strike at any moment, but that's what makes this Lindenwood team so dangerous on the offensive end. They're well balanced and they're smart.
It's all about clock management right now for the Lions. Back behind, that's Jones. Jones going to rotate it around. Now they'll take it across the perimeter. Back out front. Now they'll get it over to Collins. Ball's loose, but coming back up with it, it's going to be Tucker. 15 on the shot clock. There's a shot off the post. That's going to go out of bounds. And we're going to have a flag down, I believe, over on the far side. So a 1 minute slash, that's going to get called on Ben Foster, so he'll go to the house for a minute. Lindenwood has not scored on a man up yet today. So the Lions will go to work. Fresh shot clock and a 1 minute man up opportunity. We'll swing it around. Once again, being very patient. Looking, now they'll go over on the right-hand side. Now back up top to Haas. Swinging it around, and once again, very patient. They're going to make the Saints work on this defensive side of things with them being a man down. Now there's a shot, and a save by Robinson.
Make that 11 on the game for him. No matter what the outcome here is today, you have to be happy with the way your freshman has played against a really good Lindenwood attack, and being able to do so on such a big stage on the road in the semifinals of a GLVC tournament, being able to perform like this gives the confidence that this program needs going forward and who they have in goal. And Robinson looks like a guy that you can be confident in for the next, not just this year, but the next 3 years as well.
Got to remember, he was named the GLVC Freshman of the Year. Did just an unbelievable job throughout the regular season for the Saints. 8:34 to go here in the fourth. Maryville's got to look to score. Lindenwood's defense has just been terrific all day long. Shot, and that's going to be saved by Sinowitz. Let's see, does it go out of bounds? It does. It'll be Maryville ball. Question's going to be, if it did touch Simowitz, are they going to reset the shot clock? And they are not, so they're going to say it just missed his net. And there's a double team. Turnover, Lindenwood ball. Coming out of the pack with it is going to be Strauss.
That's how Lindenwood is really quiet at Foster here today. He loves to overpower his defenders and going inside, but he keeps running to 3 different players in white, and in doing so, there's just nowhere to go. So it's been difficult for him all game, frustrating too, because the move that's worked so many times this season just hasn't really been there. He has scored one incredible goal here today, but his usual really strong point in his offense just hasn't been on flow. And you have to credit, like you said, the Lindenwood defense. They prepared well. They did their game planning before the game, and they knew how to slow down Foster. Obviously, they played each other twice already this season. Now make it 3 times. They're comfortable with defending them, and that's what's worked well today.
Physical on physical. That's what these two teams are all about. And right now, Lindenwood has the upper hand. Shot, save once again. That was a bullet by Rob Tucker, but then a great save by Connor Robinson. Now the Saints are going to have to go to work quickly. Good pass to Wink. Wink going to bring it right down the middle. Now he's got a clean shot. Tries to bounce it in, but the goalkeeper, Simowitz, is up to the task. Great save. Great shot by Wink, but an even better save by the keeper for the Lions.
Yeah, if you're a Wink, there's really not much more you can do better there. You just have to shake your head and appreciate the excellent play by Simowitz. And he went low just as Robinson's done today, but that time such a difficult save to make. Didn't matter. Simowitz, what a player he's been for Lindenwood all season long, and that time stepping up to the challenge too. And a Lindenwood defense that's been sharp today. now they have another highlight to add with Simowicz is saved.
Yeah, you see the assistant coaches, Jeremy Frosch and Tyler Gilbert, giving their goalkeeper a big round of applause and a couple thumbs up after that save. 6 minutes coming up to go here in the fourth. Lindenwood on top, 12-4. They're the number 1 seed in the tournament. Shot off the post. Who comes up with it? And it'll be Lindenwood chasing it down. That's Cam Smith. And that'll be a fresh 80 on the shot clock for the Lions.
That was Collins who had the effort. We haven't really said his name in a little bit. It's been a lot of other options for Lindenwood. Collins has still got his work in too, as there's a really good read on the interception that time. But Collins, again, always inches close. He is always one of the top leaders in shots too. That time just a little bit off.
Schneider with the steal. Shot. Goal for Maryville. They needed that in the worst way, and that's Ethan Olson, and we really haven't mentioned his name a whole lot today. But once again, great work defensively, able to get the turnover and the transition. They had the numbers that they needed for the goal.
And that's a goal we've seen from Lindenwood so many times throughout the season, and we've seen it here today too. And it's really just excellent, skillful play. And when you think maybe they're just a little bit tired, not that time, how quickly in transition they move. And Olsen, what a player he's been all season long coming into this game. Numbers, again, through the roof with 20 goals, but just hasn't really had his way until that moment there. So when you get your star players involved, that's what happens. And that time, made no mistake about it. 5.5 minutes just about left to go. Time is basically the enemy now for Maryville, and it has been for a lot of this game. But starting to give yourself something just to be happy about after a game like this. You're going against a really good Lindenwood team. Get a couple more goals just to be able to celebrate, and doing so, give yourself some positives to reflect on.
Parker Lee will get credit for the assist, 21 goals on the year for Olsen. Saints are looking to attack. They had Foster cutting on the back post. It goes out of bounds, and it will be Lindenwood possession with 5 minutes to go. Ball loose, but they're able to come up with it. That's going to be Borchert. And a shot and a goal. How about that transition goal by Lindenwood and bringing it down? It was Preston Borchert for the goal for the Lions, and they now lead by a score 13-5.
Well, we saw how quickly Maryville can move on one side, and Lindenwood does the same on the other. And in transition, just not enough time for the defense to get set up and get into position, and that's when both offenses are there at the most deadly points. So again, so many different scoring options in this Lindenwood attack, and you've seen another one there. Just so well balanced, so much depth, and it makes them such a dangerous team here in the GLVC competitions, and further possibly if they're able to go to that stage and round.
You see the celebration on the Lindenwood sideline, the first goal of the year for Preston Borchert, and on the big stage here in the conference semifinal. What a great way to do that for the sophomore from Watertown, Wisconsin. 13-5, your score.
You know, a player like that, you're thinking about it. I mean, you're happy with the team's success, but you want to get that first one too, and be able to do so, like you said, on this stage as well. It gives him something just to be able to really celebrate besides the win, and a personal victory as well, being able to get himself that first goal.
That's one of those to where you're the head coach, Jim Lang, and you're thinking, okay, don't do it, bring it out. Okay, you got the goal. It was wide open. We'll take it. So, you know, that's the old basketball mantra. And that. So we have a whistle, and I believe we're going to have a timeout called by Maryville. That'll be their final timeout of the game. We'll step aside for 30 seconds. When we come back, we'll bring you the final 4-13 here in semifinal number 1. It's Lindenwood 13, Maryville 5. You're watching all of the action of the men's lacrosse championships right here on the GLVC Sports Network. 4:13 to go here in period number 4. Lindenwood, the top seed in the tournament, leads Maryville, the number 4 seed, 13-5. I'm Jim Powers. Dominic Hosher alongside. Saints will have the pill after the timeout. Or excuse me, Lindenwood will have the pill after the timeout. Lindenwood called that timeout. Back behind, it's going to be Jones. Shot is going to go wide. Trying to put one on the frame was Cam Smith. But Lindenwood will come up with it. 20 on the shot clock. Try to rip one of those bouncers once again was Leonard Jones, but Lindenwood once again able to maintain possession with 12 on the shot clock. Coming around, shot, goal, and that's the guy, Carter Collins, with that bounce, goes 5-hole, and they extend the lead, and that may have been the one to do it. 14-5, Lindenwood out on top of Maryville.
3 goals, 2 assists, 17 shots for Carter Collins. He has had his imprint on this game from start to finish, and just another day in the office for him. That time just looked too easy. Going from behind the goal, he knew exactly what he wanted to do ever since he got it, and he made the run and saw the open space between Robinson and the goal and made no mistake about it. Just a special player to watch and one of the top players you'll see all year long in the Division II level. So just this really special day for him and for this Lindenwood team as they continue to put one foot in through the door into the final.
Yes, that was Collins' 36th goal of the season. Maryville wins the draw. One of the few times that they've done that, we're going to have a flag down, and we're going to have a hold on Lindenwood. And I want to say they're going to go ahead and get Matthew Young once again. Let's see what the call is going to be. Actually, they're going to call it on 23, Trevor Lockwood, the sophomore from Fenton, Michigan. So it'll be a man up for the Saints. I believe it's a 32nd. Saints have scored on one man up opportunity on the day. Swing it over. Left-hand side. Now they'll bring it back up top to the point. Right side. Looking, they're trying to see if they can get Foster, and that goes a little wide. Foster able to chase it down, and he'll maintain possession with 59 on the shot clock. Foster, shot, goal. That's going to find it. Nice rip by the Saints. That's Justin Morgan from Foster, able to just find the inside of the post for it to bounce in, and the Saints get their 6th goal of the day. It's 14-6. Lindenwood with 2:40 to go.
For players as talented as Foster, sometimes the game just slows down for him, and things open up that really don't open up for many players. And that time, just excellent read the situation, and in slowing things down, he was able to find Morgan just wide open. And again, when Morgan has that much room, he's going to be able to score. The problem is for Maryville today, they haven't been able to really get him that many opportunities, and in doing so, they haven't been able to use one of their top scoring options. But that time, it was able to work. And just a sophomore, too, Morgan, a young player that this program has a lot to be excited about going forward, and is only going to be getting better and better, too. And 2 goals here today in a GLVC semifinal will definitely help him going forward as well, and just getting that confidence up. And if he can do it in a semifinal against the number 1 defense in the conference and one of the top in the nation, too, Lindenwood would come into this game top 10 in terms of scoring defense. Doing so against a team like that gives yourself even more ability going into the future with this program.
Only 4 players graduating from Maryville, so really when you look at this team, it's an extremely young team. And a lot of freshmen that came in and filled some big shoes from some guys that graduated over the last couple years. And this program is on the rise without a doubt. Wink with it. Now they'll look backside. Jake Foster comes up with it, and he scores for the Saints with 1:44 to go. Maybe a little too late for Maryville, but they're getting some opportunities. And once again, the great thing that you got to love is they're not quitting. Very easily when this game got to 12-4, 8-1, the big run that Lindenwood put on to start the half, they could have folded the tents up. But you got to give the Maryville team a whole heck of a lot of credit. There is no quit in them here this afternoon. They're battling till the final second ticks off the scoreboard.
You're definitely right, Jim. And when you look at it, there's now a minute 44 left to go in your season. What do you have to lose now? Continue to play like it's a tied ball game and make the most of this opportunity while it's still here. And obviously, it's going to be an off season where you're just eager to get back on the field. You made the GLVC postseason. You're one of the top 4 teams in the conference. You're going to be eager to come back and do it again. But for now, just make the most of this while it's still here and while you're still on such a big stage.
And we're going to have a flag down off the transition by Lindenwood. And are we going to have, actually, we may have a timeout called first before. It looked like they may have gotten a cross-check over on the far side. We'll keep it right here. Game number 2 set to start at 6:30. The number 2 seed and the number 3 seed, we talked about it a little bit ago, the last week of the regular season. We knew what 4 teams were going to be here tonight. It was just a matter of who was going to play when, what time, and who their opponent was going to be, Dominic. And that was kind of the fun part with following last week. But you've got some great matchups. I mean, you saw these 2 teams, split the regular season, and you see UIndy, the number 2 seed, and Rockhurst, the number 3 seed. That game is just going to be a wild one, I think, from the word go.
I definitely think so, too. 2 teams that have had such really good regular seasons, but come in with something to prove now. You saw Indy. They fell, like we talked about earlier, from the 1 seed to this 2 seed. They want to prove that they were the number 1 team, and they want to get a chance to face this Lindenwood team that overtook them that number 1 spot, and being able to do so here at Hunter Stadium, where Lindenwood, perfect on the year. You talked about they were 5-0 coming into the game at home, improving to 6-0 as well. But Rockers on the other side, they had a difficult loss against the same Lions team to end the regular season. They wanted just to put that in the rearview mirror and make up for it now here tonight. So 2 teams with a lot to prove and a lot to play for, and should make for a really good matchup between the number 2 and number 3 seeds here in the GLVC.
Yeah, John Myron for Rockhurst going against Drew Billig. There's just going to be so many fun matchups that we're going to see in that last game. So that'll start at 6:30. 1 minute to go here in semifinal number 1. Lindenwood leads 14-7 as they will move on to take on the winner of that second game on Sunday afternoon at 1:30 right here at Hunter Stadium. And Lindenwood's just going to take the air out of things. Maybe about a 4-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock.
Another thing I want to credit about this Lindenwood team, Jim, is the job they've done against excellent opposition all year. Came into this game 4-1 against ranked opponents. This is going to be yet another one against a postseason team, and in doing so, you've proven yourself against the top of the conference, the tops in the nation too, against Indy, against Rockhurst. You're going to that final on Sunday knowing that you can play with almost anyone in the nation and in the GLVC, and it should give them a boatload of confidence here at home.
Turnover for Lindenwood. Maryville with 10 seconds to go is going to try and make one final run. See what they can do here. Looking shot. It's going to be tipped away, and that's going to do it. Your final score, Lindenwood will move on. The number 1 seed knocks off the number 4 seed, Maryville, 14-7 here in semifinal number 1. We'll step aside for a quick minute. When we come back, we'll wrap things up here in game number 1, semifinal number 1 from Hunter Stadium. Lindenwood moves on to the championship. They defeat Maryville 14-7. We'll be back in a moment right here on the GLVC Sports Network. The number 1 seed, Lindenwood, clicks their ticket. They will move on to the championship game Sunday at 1 o'clock. Here at Hunter Stadium, they defeat Maryville, the number 4 seed, 14-7 here at Hunter Stadium. I'm Jim Powers, Dominic Hosher alongside, and Dominic, just a dominant performance from the word go for Lindenwood. They broke out to the, Maryville scores early, and then it was all Lindenwood from that point on.
It was an 8-goal run, really just separated these two teams. And after the first, it was close in the first quarter. Second quarter, Lindenwood outscored them 4-0, and that just changed the entire tide of the game. And they never really stopped either going into the second half. And that's due to their, I'm going to credit the defense. I mean, they gave up in the end 7 goals, a lot of those coming in the later stages when the game might have been already out of reach. And when you play as aggressive, and like you said it a lot, the word physical, that's how this team played, and they were fearless on the defensive side, forcing turnover after turnover, limiting the amount of good scoring opportunities that this Maryville team could really muster up, and in doing so, it set up their offense and created opportunities for Collins, who had an outstanding day, 3 goals, 2 assists, 17 shots, all over this Maryville defense. We had Glazier, who scored 4, and multiple other players being able to find the back of the net. That was all set up due to the wonderful defense on the other side in front of Simonwitz, and Simonwitz being able to make a couple saves as well throughout the game. And in doing so, just a well-balanced approach turned into a well-balanced outing for this Lindenwood team that rightfully deserves to go on to the final on Sunday.
Grant Glazier with 4 goals for Lindenwood. Carter Collins, the Conference Player of the Year, 3 goals. Leonard Jones with 2. Cam Smith with 1. For Maryville, Justin Borgen and Jake Foster each with 2. Tyler Wink with 1. And Ethan Olson with 1. Well, that'll do it for game number 1. Semifinal number 2 will begin in a little more than 45 minutes from now, so we're probably looking at about a 6:45 start for our second semifinal, as number 2 UIndy will take on number 3 Rockhurst. Dominic, absolute honor and a privilege to work with you today, man. Great job, and you got a bright future. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Great stuff this year for Lindenwood, and great working with you here today, my man.
You're making me blush, Jim. It's been fun to work with you as well. Fun first game, and hopefully, like I said earlier, the second game just as fun to call for you as well.
I think we're going to have a good one, and we want to thank Josh for running everything for us here. This is his last game as he's graduating tomorrow, so good luck to him. And it's been a lot of fun here for game number 1. Game number 2 will be coming up here in about 45 minutes or so from Hunter Stadium. For Dominic Hosher, for Josh, and for everybody with the Great Lakes Valley Conference, I'm Jim Powers. Your final score in semifinal number 1, the number 1 seed Lindenwood beats number 4 Maryville 14-7. We'll step aside. We'll see you in about 45 minutes back here at Hunter Stadium, right here on the GLVC Sports Network. Have a great evening, everybody.